All right, in this video, we have a look at the hooks. Now, again, in our case, we do not want to memorize stuff, but we need to have the overview. We need to understand the overview. This is not about you coding or anything like that. This is you about understanding how basically we set those guardrails and we implement automations and we implement processes and triggers inside our project so that we can build faster, we can build safer, we can build with less tokens, with less spendings, and we can be more efficient. And hooks and skills are a huge part of that. So hooks are basically there to trigger processes. The processes are the skills that we implement, and the hooks are the triggers for these processes. So every time that Claude notices that there is this trigger that turns on when you, for example, say or type something that meets the hook requirement to trigger, then it sends that information to the skill. So hooks are automated triggers. Instead of manually invoking a skill, you could manually invoke that. That's always the case. But you can also create hooks that invoke that skill. You define conditions under which the agent acts on its own. So a file changes, a hooks fires, a rule is violated, a skill runs, standard slips, the system corrects. Now, here's the location. Hooks are located under .claude/settings.json. And then you have here the types of event that can be used, such as, for example, PreToolUse, PostToolUse, etc. And then we have here further details that are basically common hook patterns, such as auto format on save, run type check after code changes, run tests after file changes in source. Good, and then we have here the environmental variables in hooks, and we have important rules. Please read that information here, the important rules. And then we have here, again, the pattern for the skill and hook combination, what I mentioned before, which is basically the skill is the process and the hook triggers that process based on the definition of the hook. Good, that is basically now the hooks that are our basically our triggers for the processes, for the automations and processes. And now we move on towards the memory.md file.